Hello, brothers and sisters, and welcome to another Temple 420 Bible study. This is Temple 420 Bible study number 38. I'm here today with Victoria Rose, and our invites are sent out, so we might have other people show up. We'll see. Would you like to open us with a prayer, or I could open us up with a prayer?
Yeah, could you pray today?
Sure, sounds absolutely good. Dear Almighty Living God, thank you for the blessings you give us. Thank you for those that attend and watch our show and the words we get to have together with your word that you've given us and the guidance. May we be inspired to do things in your will and do the righteous things before you. Amen.
Amen.
Then we've been going through Leviticus. So we're actually in Leviticus 22, and then we'll be visiting Matthew.
Okay.
But after that, hello, kitty kitty. My kitty kitty runs every time I try to grab it.
Aww.
It's like, no, I just want pets. I don't want you to pick me up. Leviticus 22. Let me switch my version. I like that one. Master Yahuwah said to Moses, "Speak to Aaron and his sons and tell them to keep away from the set apart holy things from the people of Israel, which they set apart to me. They must not profane my set apart holy name. I am the Master Yahuwah. Say to them, if any of your descendants through your generation approaches set apart holy things that is the people of Israel have set apart to the Master Yahuwah, while he is unclean, that person must be cut off before me. I am the Master Yahuwah. None of the descendants of Aaron who has an infectious disease or an infection flowing through his body may eat of any of the sacrifices made to the Master Yahuwah until he's clean. Whoever touches anything unclean through contact of the dead or by contact of a man who has a flow of semen, or whoever touches any creeping animal that makes him unclean, or any person who makes him unclean, or whatever kind of uncleanness it might be. I wonder how you know if there's an infection. Oh, I guess flowing from your body. I said flowing through your body.
Oh,
Like, I guess if you're like leaking stuff.
yeah. I mean, when you have an infection, there's usually pus and stuff, and
But otherwise, if you're like infected and it's in your blood, I don't know how you would know. Like, what? How's that
oh, in
supposed to?
your blood.
But it does say if it flows
Oh,
from your body. So you got to be leaking.
yeah.
You got to have some kind of oozy, nasty stuff going on.
Mhm.
When the priest touches anything that is unclean, it'll be unclean until evening. He must not eat any of the set apart holy things unless he's bathed his body in water. When the sun is set, he will be clean. After sunset, he may eat from the set apart holy things because they are his food. He must not eat anything found dead or killed by wild animals, by which he would defile himself. I am the Master Yahuwah. The priests must follow my instructions, or they will be guilty of sin and could die from profaning me. I am the Master Yahuwah who makes them set apart, holy. That's why I don't like to profane God. I take you out there.
What'd you say?
Say that's why I don't like to profane God there. He might take you out.
Yeah, for real.
He warned you. Uh-oh. No one outside the priest's family, including the priest, a guest of the priest, or his hired servants, may eat anything that is set apart and holy. But if the priest buys a slave with his own money, that slave must eat from the things set apart to the Master Yahuwah. The priest's family members and slaves born in his house, they may eat with him from those things. If a priest's daughter is married someone who's not a priest, she may not eat any of the set apart holy contribution offerings. But if a priest's daughter is a widow or divorced, and if she has no child, and she returns to live in her father's house in her youth, She may eat from her father's food, but no one who is not in the priestly family must eat from the priest's food. If a man eats a set apart holy food without knowing it, then he must repay the priest for it. He must add 1/5 to it and give it back to the priest. The people of Israel must not dishonor the set apart holy things that they raised high and presented to the Master Yahuwah, and then cause themselves to carry the sin that would make them guilty of eating the set apart holy food. For I am the Master Yahuwah who makes them set apart and holy. Acceptable offerings. The Master Yahuwah spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to Aaron and his sons and to all the people of Israel. Say to them, any Israelite or alien living in Israel, when they present the sacrifice, whether it is to fulfill a vow or whether it is free will offering, or they present to the Master Yahuwah a burnt offering, it is to be accepted. They must offer a male animal without blemish from the cattle, sheep, or goats. But you must not offer what has a blemish. It'll not be accepted on your behalf. I will not accept it on your behalf. Whoever offers a sacrifice of fellowship offerings from the herd or the flock to the Master Yahuwah to fulfill a vow, or as a free will offering, it must be unblemished to be accepted. There must be no defect in the animal. You must not offer animals that are blind, disabled, or maimed, or have warts, sores, or scabs. You must not offer to use these to the Master Yahuwah as a sacrifice by fire on the altar. You may present it as a free will offering, or an ox or a lamb that is deformed or small, but like an offering like that will not be accepted for a vow. Do not offer any animal to the Master Yahuwah that has been bruised, crushed, torn, or cut testicles. Do not do this within your land. You must not present the bread of your Elohim from your hand or a foreigner. Those animals are deformed and may have defects with them, and they will not be accepted for you. It's interesting that they mention it's for a vow, because I was in Parsha yesterday, because they do Parshas on Tuesday, and they said that the Bible mentions that you're not supposed to even take vows. It says how you're supposed to do it if you are, but it says don't do vows. So
Interesting.
have to ask them more on how offerings are supposed to work in those. Then that's
Yeah.
the Parsha was in Numbers, though, so they're significantly ahead of me there. The Master Yahuwah spoke to Moses and said, when a calf or a sheep or a goat is born, it must remain 7 days with its mother, and then on the 8th day it may be accepted as a sacrifice for an offering made by fire to the Master Yahuwah. Do not kill a cow or an ewe along with its young, both on the same day. When you sacrifice a thanks offering to the Master Yahuwah, you must sacrifice it in an acceptable way. It must be eaten on the same day that it is sacrificed. You must leave none till the next morning. I am the Master Yahuwah. You must keep my commands and carry them out. I am the Master Yahuwah. You must not dishonor my set apart holy name. I must be acknowledged as set apart and holy by the people of Israel. I am the Master Yahuwah who makes you set apart and holy. Who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your Elohim? I am the Master Yahuwah. Feasts of the Lord. The Master Yahuwah spoke to Moses and said to them, these are the appointed feasts of the Master Yahuwah, in which you must proclaim in the set apart holy assemblies, as they are my regular festivals. The Sabbath. You must work 6 days, but on the 7th day is the Sabbath of complete rest, a set apart holy assembly. You must not do any work, because it is the Sabbath of the Master Yahuwah in all places where you live. The Passover. These are the appointed feasts of the Master Yahuwah, the holy assemblies that you must announce at their appointed times. And the first month, on the 14th day of the month at twilight, is the Master Yahuwah's Passover. And the 15th day of the same month is the festival of unleavened bread for the Master Yahuwah. For 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. The first day you must set apart to gather together. You will not do any of your regular work. You will present a food offering to the Master Yahuwah for 7 days. The seventh day is an assembly set apart to the Master Yahuwah, and on that day you must not do any regular work. The Feast of the First Fruits. The Master Yahuwah spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the people of Israel and say to them, when you come into the land that I give to you, and when you reap of its harvest, you must bring a sheaf of its first fruits to the priest. He will raise the sheaf before the Master Yahuwah and present it to him, for to be acceptable on your behalf. It is on the day after the Sabbath that the priest will raise it up and present it to me. On the day when you raise your sheaf and present it to me, you must offer a male lamb, 1 year old and without blemish, as a burnt offering to the Master Yahuwah. The grain offering must be 2/10 of an ephah of flour mixed with oil, and an offering made by fire to the Master Yahuwah to produce a sweet aroma, and with it a drink offering of wine in a fourth of hin. You must eat no bread, nor roasted or fresh grain until the same day that you have brought this offering to your Elohim. This will be a permanent statute within your people's generations in every place that you live. The Feast of Weeks, beginning from the day of the Sabbath that was in the day you brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 full weeks. You must count 50 days, and which would be the 7th Sabbath. Then you must present an offering of new grain to the Master Yahuwah. You must bring out of your house 2 loaves made from 2/10 of an ephah. They must be made from fine flour and baked with yeast. There will be a wave offering for the first fruits to the Master Yahuwah. You must present with the bread 7 lambs 1 year old and without blemish, 1 young bull, and 2 rams. They must be a burnt offering to the Master Yahuwah, with their grain offering and their drink offerings, and an offering made by fire, in producing a sweet aroma for the Master Yahuwah. You must offer 1 male goat for a sin offering, and 2 male lambs for a sacrifice as fellowship offerings. The priest must wave them together with the bread of the first fruits before the Master Yahuwah, and present them to him as a whoa, what did it do here? It totally crashed. I don't know where exactly that took us at here. Let me get back. Guessing that continued because it says it's still recording. One moment. There's not a stage there. A couple things here. Maybe it ran out of space. There we go. Sorry for that interruption there. Now, where were we? I think Leviticus 23:19. You must offer 1 male goat for a sin offering and 2 male lambs for a year-old sacrifice as fellowship offerings. The priest must wave together with the bread of the first fruits before the Master Yahuwah and present to him as an offering with the 2 lambs. They will be set apart offerings to the Master Yahuwah for the priest. You must make a proclamation on the same day. There will be set apart holy assembly, and you must do no ordinary work. This will be a permanent statute from throughout your people's generations and all the places that you live. When you reap a harvest for your land, you must not completely reap the corners of your fields, and you must not gather the gleanings of your harvest. You must leave them for the poor and the foreigner. I am the Master Yahuwah, your Elohim. The Feast of Trumpets. The Master Yahuwah spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the people of Israel and say, I am in the 7th month. The first day of the month will be a solemn rest for you, a memorial with blowing trumpets and a set apart holy assembly. You must do no ordinary work, and you must offer a sacrifice by fire to the Master Yahuwah, the Day of Atonement." Then the Master Yahuwah spoke to Moses, saying, "Now on the 10th day of the 7th month of this Day of Atonement, it is to be set apart. It is to be a set apart holy assembly, and you must humble yourself and present to the Master Yahuwah an offering by fire. You must do no work on that day, because it is the Day of Atonement. You must make atonement for yourselves before the Master Yahuwah, your Elohim. Whoever does not humble himself on that day must be cut off from his people. Whomever does any work on that day, I, the Master Yahuwah, will destroy him from among his people. You must not do any work of any kind on that day. This will be a permanent statute through your people's generations in all the places that you live. This must be your Sabbath of solemn rest, and you must be humble yourself the 9th day of the month after that evening. From evening to evening, you are to observe the Sabbath. The Feast of Booths. The Master Yahuwah spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the people of Israel. On the 15th day of the 7th month, there will be a festival of shelters for the Master Yahuwah. It'll last 7 days. On the first day, there will be a set apart holy assembly. You must do no ordinary work. For the 7 days, you must offer a sacrifice made by fire to the Master Yahuwah. On the 8th day, there must be a set apart holy assembly, and you must make a sacrifice offered with fire to the Master Yahuwah. This is a solemn assembly, and you must not do any ordinary work. These are the proclaimed festivals for the Master Yahuwah, in which you must proclaim as set apart holy assemblies to offer your sacrifice of fire to the Master Yahuwah, a burnt offering and a grain offering, sacrifice and drinks offerings, each on its own day. These festivals will be in addition to the Sabbaths of the Master Yahuwah, and your gifts and all your vows and all your free will offerings that you give to the Master Yahuwah. Regarding the festival of shelters, on the 15th day of the 7th month, I just missed here. I just lost it. Regarding the festival of shelters on the 15th day, there you are. I crashed somehow or something.
No, my phone died.
Oh, yours too? Yeah, I don't know. It just suddenly went black here, and then it told me that there was no connection. And then refreshed it. Then I was back in here. So I don't know if my silly browser ran out of memory or what it did. Okay. Sure. I like computers. Regarding the festival of shelters on the 15th day of the 7th month, when you have gathered the fruits of your land, you must keep the festival of the Master Yahuwah for 7 days. The first day will be a solemn rest, and the 8th day will also be a solemn rest. On the first day, you must take the best fruit from the trees, the branches of the palm trees, and the leafy branches of thick trees and willows from the streams. You will rejoice before the Master Yahuwah, your Elohim, for 7 days. For 7 days each year, you must celebrate the festival for the Master Yahuwah. This will be a permanent statute through your people's generations and all the places where you live. You must celebrate this festival in the 7th month. You must live in small shelters for 7 days. All the native-born Israelites must live in small shelters for 7 days, so that your descendants, generation after generation, may learn how I made the people of Israel live in such shelters when I led them out of Egypt. I am the Master Yahuwah, your Elohim. In this way, Moses announced that the people of Israel the appointed festivals of the Master Yahuwah. It's really interesting to me that these festivals are in here, and it says you should practice them from generation to generation and forever. And like we just completely disregard them. It's crazy. Modern Christians, generally. 24. I'll go through 24. The lamps. The Master Yahuwah spoke to Moses, saying, command the people of Israel, bring your pure oil beaten from olives used in the lamp. That light may burn continuously. Outside the curtain, before the covenant decrees and the tent of meeting, Aaron must continually, from evening to morning, keep the lamp lit before the Master Yahuwah. This will be a permanent statute to your generations. The high priest must keep the lamps lit before the gold. The Master Yahuwah, the lamps and the lampstand. The Master Yahuwah, the lamps and the lampstand of pure gold. The bread for the tabernacle. You must take fine flour and bake 12 loaves with it. There must be 2/10 of an ephah for each loaf. You must set them in 2 rows, 6 in a row on the table of pure gold before you. You must put pure incense along the row of the loaves as a representation offering. This incense will be burnt for the Master Yahuwah. Every Sabbath day, the high priest must regularly set out the bread before the Master Yahuwah on behalf of the people of Israel, as it is a sign of the everlasting covenant. This offering will be for Aaron's sons, and they are to eat it in the place that is set apart and holy, for it is a portion of the offerings of the Master Yahuwah made by fire. It does say they're supposed to keep the statutes of the menorah too. Maybe that's why we see so many menorahs. The punishments for blasphemy. Now it had happened that the son of Israel woman, whose father was an Egyptian, went along with the people of Israel. This son of an Israelite woman fought against an Israelite man in the camp. The son of Israelite woman blasphemed the name of the Master Yahuwah and cursed Elohim. So the people brought him into Moses. His mother's name was Selomith, the daughter of Dibri from the tribe of Dan. They held him in custody until the Master Yahuwah himself could declare his will to them. Then the Master Yahuwah spoke to Moses, saying, take the man who has cursed Elohim outside his camp. All those who heard him must lay their hands on his head, and then the entire assembly must stone him. You must explain to the people of Israel this way. Whoever curses his Elohim must carry his own guilt. He who blasphemies the name of the Master Yahuwah will surely be put to death. All of the assembly must certainly stone him, whether he is a foreigner or a native-born Israelite. If anyone blasphemes the name of the Master Yahuwah, he must be put to death. An eye for an eye. If anyone strikes down another human being, he must be certainly put to death. If anyone strikes down somebody's animal, he must pay it back, a life for life. If anyone injures his neighbor, it must be done to him what he did to his neighbor. Fracture for fracture. Eye for eye and tooth for tooth. He has caused an injury to a person must be also done to him. Anyone who kills an animal must pay it back, and anyone who kills a person must be put to death. You must have the same Torah for the foreigner and for the native-born Israelite. For I am the Master Yahuwah, your Elohim. So Moses spoke to the people of Israel, and the people brought the man outside the camp, the one who had cursed the Master Yahuwah, and they stoned him with stones. The people of Israel carried out the command of the Master Yahuwah to Moses. And we'll go to Matthew 18 for our New Testament reading here. Who is the greatest? Matthew 18:1. In that same time, disciples came to Yeshua and said, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom?" Yeshua called to himself a little child and sat among them and said, "Truly, I say unto you, unless you turn and become like little children, you will in no way enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, whoever humbles himself like this little child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Whoever comes as a little child like this in my name receives me. But whoever causes one of these little ones who believes in me to sin, it would be greater for him that a great millstone should be hung around his neck, and that he should sink into the depths of the sea." Temptations to sin. Woe to the world because of the times of stumbling, for it is necessary that those times come. But woe to the person whom those times come. If your hand or foot causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away from you. It is better for you to enter into life maimed or lame than to be thrown into the eternal fire having 2 hands or 2 feet. If your eye causes you to stumble, pluck it out and throw it away from you. It is better for you to enter life with 1 eye than to be in an eternal fire having both eyes. Parable of the lost sheep. See that you do not despise any of these little ones, for I say to you that in heaven the angels will always look on the face of my Father who is in heaven. For the Son of Man came to save which is lost. What do you think? If anyone has 100 sheep and one of them goes astray, does he not leave the 99 on the hillside and go off seeking that one who went astray? If he finds it, truly I say to you, he rejoices over it more than the 99 that didn't go astray. In the same way, it is not the will of your Father in heaven that one of these little ones should perish. If your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault, between you and him alone. If he listens to you, you will have gained a brother. But if he does not listen to you, take 1 or 2 others among you, so that the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses with every word might be verified. And if he refuses to listen to them, tell the matter to the church. And if he refuses to listen to the church, tell them Let him be to you as a Gentile and a tax collector. Truly, I say to you, whatever things you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you release on earth will be released in heaven. Again, I say to you, if you two agree on one thing on earth, if two of you agree on earth about anything they ask it, it'll be done for them by my Father in heaven. For where two or three are gathered in my name, there I am in their midst. Really super important, that one. I've seen great results with this one, and getting with my brothers and sisters and coming to an agreement with them and asking for prayer and things, that God's done miraculous changes. He's saved people from injury. He's saved and turned around situations. He's made things come into fruition that we'd never expect. It's an amazing verse there. Sorry, I feel like I got something in my eye here. It keeps making it water and it'd be crazy. Parable of the unforgiving servant. Then Peter came to Yeshua. Master, how often will my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Until 7 times? Yeshua said to him, I do not tell you 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Therefore, the kingdom of heaven is similar to a certain king who wanted to settle accounts with his servants. As he began the settling, one servant was brought to him who owed him 10,000 talents. But since he had not any means to repay, his master commanded him to be sold, together with his wife and children and everything he had, and the payment to be made. So the servant fell down, bowed before him, and said, Master, have patience with me, and I will pay you everything. So the master of that servant, since he was moved by compassion, released him and forgave him of the debt. But the servant went out and found one of his fellow servants that owed him 100 denarii. He grasped him and took him by the throat and said, Pay me what you owe. But the fellow servant fell down and implored him, saying, Have patience with me, I will repay you. But the first servant refused. Instead, he went and threw him into prison until he should pay him what he owed. That sounds like the state doing it to parents that aren't paying their things. That's not very good. Because how are you supposed to pay when you're in prison? You can't make any income. It never makes any sense to me. Somebody owes you debt, then get them into prison, and then they can pay you from prison? That's such a crazy idea. Well, that's spoken against it here. When the fellow servants saw what had happened, they were very upset. They came and told their master everything that had happened. When the servant's master called him and said to him, You wicked servant, I forgive you for all that debt you employed me. Should you not had mercy on your fellow servant, even as I had mercy on you? His master was angry and handed him over to the torturers until he would pay all that was owed. So I'm also my heavenly Father will do to you, if each one does not forgive his brother from his heart. I don't know that get thrown over the tortures helps either, but I guess if they're being cruel and terrible to them, that's definitely an answer, I guess, there. Teaching about divorce. It came about that Yeshua was finished with these words. He departed from Galilee and came to the region of Judea that was beyond the Jordan River. Great crowds followed him, and he healed them there. The Pharisees came to him, testing him, saying to him, Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife for any cause? Yeshua answered to them and said, Have you not read that he who made them from the beginning made them male and female? He who made them also said, For this reason, a man will leave his father and his mother to join his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what Elohim has joined together, let no one tear apart. They said to him, why did Moses command us to give a certificate of divorce and then send her away? He said to them, for your hardness of heart, Moses allowed you to divorce your wives, but from the beginning it was not that way. I say to you, whoever divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, and he marries another, commits adultery. And the man who marries a woman who is divorced is committing adultery. The disciples say to Yeshua, if that is the case of a man with his wife, it is not good to marry. But Yeshua said to them, not everyone can accept this teaching, but only those who are allowed to accept it. For there are eunuchs who were that way from their mother's womb, and there were eunuchs who were made eunuchs by men, and there were eunuchs who made themselves eunuchs for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. He who is able to receive his teachings, let him receive it. Let the children come to me. Then some little children were brought to him so that he would lay his hands on them. But the disciples rebuked them. But Yeshua said, permit the little children and do not forbid them to come to me, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such ones. He placed his hands on the children and went away from there. The rich young man. Behold, a man came to Yeshua and said, teacher, what good thing must I do to have eternal life? Yeshua said to him, why do you ask me about what is good? Only one is good. But if you want to enter into life, keep the commandments. The man said to him, which commandments? Yeshua said, do not kill, do not commit adultery, do not steal, do not bear false witness, honor thy mother and their father, and love your neighbor as yourself. And the young man said, all of these things I've obeyed. What do I still need? Yeshua said to him, if you wish to be perfect, go sell what you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven, and come follow me. But then the young man heard what Yeshua said. He went away sorrowful, for he had many possessions. Yeshua said to his disciples, truly I say to you, it is hard for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. Again, I say to you, it is easier for a heavy rope to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of the Elohim. That's interesting. That's a cool difference that I see and hear with that. In the Lamsa and the Aramaic, it's oftentimes you'll see in the King James that this says a camel through the needle. According to the Aramaic, camel and rope are very similar. They just have one little bit that makes them different. And just as it would be impossible to get a camel through a needle, you're not going to be getting a heavy rope through the eye of a needle either. It really just shows the impossible task of it. A lot of people are like, hey, camel's really hard, but you're not going to get like a huge rope or really any size that's bigger than a thread through that needle. Obviously, you're using the wrong size. You're trying to throw way more in that than you're doing. You're not just keeping the one little thing that you need. When the disciples heard it, they were astonished and said, who then can be saved? Yeshua looked at them and said, with people, this is impossible, but with Elohim, all things is possible. Then Peter answered and said to him, see, we have left everything and followed you. What then will we have? Yeshua said to them, truly, I say to you, in the new age, when the Son of Man sits on his glorious throne, you have followed me will be sitting upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Every one of you has left houses, brothers, sisters, fathers, mother, children or land for my name's sake, I will receive 100 times as much as I will inherit in eternal life. But those who are first will be last, and the last will be first. 20. Laborers in the vineyard. For the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire workers in his vineyard. After he had agreed with the workers for 1 denarius a day, he sent them into their vineyard. He went out again in the 3rd hour and saw other workers that were standing idle in the marketplace. To them he said, "You also go into the vineyard, and whatever is right I will give to you." So they went to work. Again, he went out the 6th hour and the 9th hour and did the same. Once more, about the 11th hour, he went out and finding all the others standing idle, and said to them, "Why do you stand here idle all day long?" They said to him, "Because nobody has hired us." He said to them, "You also go into the vineyard." When evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to his manager, "Call the workers and pay their wages, beginning from the last to the first." When the workers who had been hired in the 11th hour came, each of them received a denarius. When the first workers came, they thought they would receive more, but they also received 1 denarius. When they received their wages, they complained about the landowner. They said, "These last workers have spent only 1 hour of work, but you have made them equal to us, we who have borne the burden of the day and the scorching heat." But the owner said to one of them, "Friend, I do you no wrong. Did you not agree with me for 1 denarius? Take that belongs to you and go your way. I chose to give these last hired workers the same as you. Do I not have the right to do as I want with what belongs to me? Or are you envious because I'm generous?" So the last will be the first, and the first will be the last. Many are called, but few are chosen. Jesus foretells his death a 3rd time. As Yeshua was going up to Jerusalem, he took the 12 aside, and on the way he said to them, "See, we are going up from Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be delivered to the chief priests and the scribes. They will condemn him to death, and they will deliver him from the Gentiles for them to mock, to flog, and to crucify him. But on the 3rd day he will be raised up." A mother's bequest. Then the sons of Zebedee came to Yeshua with the mother of the sons of Zebedee came to Yeshua with their sons. She bowed down before him and asked for something from him. Yeshua said to her, "What do you wish?" She said to him, "Command that these, my true sons, sit one at your right and one at your left in your kingdom." But Yeshua answered and said, "You do not know what you are asking. Are you able to drink the cup that I'm about to drink?" They said to him, "We are able." And he said to them, my cup you will indeed drink, but to sit here at my right hand and my left hand, that is not mine to give, but it is for those who have been prepared by my Father." When the other 10 disciples heard this, they were very angry with the 2 brothers. But Yeshua called them to himself and said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles subjugate them, and their important men exercise authority over them. But it must not be this way among you. Instead, whoever wishes to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wishes to be first among you must be your servant. Just as the Son of Man did come to be not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." Jesus heals 2 blind men. As they went out from Jericho, a great crowd followed him. There were two blind men sitting by the road. When they heard that Yeshua was passing, they shouted, "Master, Son of David, have mercy on us." The crowd rebuked them, telling them to be quiet, and they cried even more loudly, "Master, Son of David, have mercy on us." Then Yeshua stood still and called to them, "What do you wish for me to do for you?" Then they said to him, "Master, that our eyes may be opened." Then Yeshua moved with compassion and touched their eyes. Immediately they received their sight and followed him. The triumphal re-entry. Let's go back. All right. The triumphal re-entry. As Yeshua and his disciples approached Jerusalem and came to Bethphage, to the Mount of Olives, then Yeshua sent two disciples, saying to them, "Go to the next village, and you'll immediately find a donkey tied up there, and a colt with her. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone says anything to you about that, you will say, 'The Master Yahuwah has need for them,' and the person will immediately send them with you." Now, this came about, what was spoken through the prophet may be fulfilled. He said, "Tell the daughter of Zion, see, your king is coming and humble, and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey." Then the disciples went and did just as Yeshua instructed them. They brought the donkey and the colt and put on their cloaks on them, and Yeshua sat upon the cloaks. Most of the crowd spread their cloaks on the road, and others cut branches from the trees and spread them on the road. Then the crowds went before Yeshua and said to those that followed him, were shouting, "Hosanna to Son of David. Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Master Yahuwah. Hosanna in the highest." Then Yeshua came to Jerusalem. All the city stirred and said, "Who is this?" The crowds answered, "This is Yeshua, the prophet from Nazareth of Galilee." Jesus cleanses the temple. Then Yeshua entered the temple. He cast out all of those who bought and sold in the temple, turned over the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold doves. And he went and he said to them, "It is written, my house will be called a house of prayer, but you make it a den of robbers." Then the blind and the lame came to him in the temple, and he healed them. But when the chief priest and the scribes saw these marvelous things and heard the children shouting in the temple, saying, "Hosanna to the Son of David," they became angry. They said to him, "Do you hear what these people are saying?" Yeshua said to them, "Yes, but have you never read, out of the mouths of babes and nursing infants, you have perfect praise?" Then Yeshua left them and went out of the city of Bethany and spent the night there. Jesus curses the fig tree. Now in the morning, he returned to the city, and he was hungry. Seeing a fig tree along the roadside, he went there and found nothing on it except for leaves. He said to it, "May there be no fruit from you ever again." And immediately the fig tree withered. When the disciples saw it, they were marveled, said, "How did the fig tree immediately wither away?" Yeshua answered and said to them, "Truly I say to you, if you have faith and do not doubt, you will not only do what was done to this fig tree, but you will even say this to a mountain, 'Be taken up and be thrown into the sea,' and it will be done. Whatever you ask for in prayer, believing, you will receive." The authority of Jesus challenged. When Yeshua came into the temple, the chief priests and the elders, the people came to him, and he was teaching and said, "By what authority do you do these things, and who gave you this authority?" Yeshua answered to them, saying, I will also ask you one question. If you tell me, I will tell you by what authority I do these things. The immersion of John, from where did these things come? From heaven or from men? They discussed among themselves, saying, if we say from heaven, he will say to us, why do you not believe him? But if we say from men, we fear the crowd, because all of them view John as a prophet. But then they answered Yeshua, saying, we do not know. He said to them, neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things. The parable of the two sons. But what do you think? A man had two sons. He went into the first and said, son, go work in the vineyard. The son answered and said, I will not. But after a while, he changed his mind and went. Then the man went and got the second son, who said the same thing. He answered and said, I will go, but he did not go. Which of these two sons did his father's will? They said, the first one. Yeshua said to them, truly, I say to you, the tax collectors and the prostitutes will enter the kingdom of heaven before you do. For John came to you in the way of righteousness, but you did not believe him. But the tax collectors and the prostitutes believed him. But you, even when you saw this, you did not repent afterwards and believe him. The parable of the tenants. Listen to another parable. There was a man, a landowner. He planted a vineyard and set a hedge about it, dug a wine press in it, built a watchtower, and rented it out to vine growers. And then he went into another country. Then, when the time of the fruit harvest approached, he sent some servants to the vine growers to get his fruit. But the vine growers took his servants, beat one, killed another, still another. Again, the owner sent out other servants, more than the first. But the vine growers treated them in the same way. After that, the owner sent his son to them, saying, they will respect my son. But when the vine growers saw their son, they said among themselves, this is the heir. Come and let us kill him and take over the inheritance. So they took him and threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. Now, when the owner of the vineyard comes, what will we do to those vine growers? They said to him, he will destroy those miserable men in the most severe way, and he'll rent out the vineyard to another vine growers, men who will give him his share of crops at harvest time. Yeshua said to them, did you never read the scriptures in which the stone which the builders rejected has been made the cornerstone? This was from the Master Yahuwah, and it was marvelous in our eyes. Therefore, I say to you, the reign of Elohim will be taken away from you, and you'll be given a nation that produces its fruits. Whoever falls in the stone will be broken to pieces, but anyone whom it falls will be crushed. When the chief priests and the Pharisees heard his parables, they understood what he was speaking about them. Seeking to arrest him, they were afraid of the crowd, because the people regarded him as a prophet. And that would be good for today. We're almost here to an hour. I'll give you guys a prayer and pray you out here. And I appreciate everybody who attends and stays here. Thank you, Almighty Yahuwah. Thank you for the blessing that you give us here. Thank you for your word and your truths. May those who view these learn your truths and be more encouraged to follow you. May they want to seek you out and seek out the salvation that you give us. Thank you for all the things you do and watching us through the days, and bless in his name. Amen. We've got these. I should have the links up, or I can get them up here at temple420.org. You can also follow us on Facebook, get updates when we have these. You can join us and these Wednesday Bible studies, or you can join us for the discussions that we do, our Sabbath sesh on Saturday, where we talk about things, go over things. And it's a little bit more casual. A lot of times we do read the Bible or go through different verses, but it's more of a chill thing there, where this one's all straight, going to the Bible, seeing what it means, and giving some information about that. We thank you for being here, and feel free to throw in any comments on any of the platforms that we post this on, and have a blessed day. God bless.